Well, speaking of increasing fees, the Flagstaff citizens may be experiencing some increases as well. Flagstaff City Council had their first read last Tuesday, which ended in a 4-3 vote favoring small increases in water, sewer, and stormwater rates. The City Council is expected to hold a final vote on that issue April 19th.
In the meantime, we sat down with Kimberly Ott to talk about some of the issues that City Council will be discussing during tomorrow's meeting.
I'm Michaela Clark here in the studio with Kimberly Ott with the City of Flagstaff. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And so the city's having a work session this Tuesday, and I hear there's a lot on the agenda.
You're right.
Can you tell me about ADOT's presentation about widening an intersection?
Yeah, so this is a pretty important one. I think people have been hearing a little bit about this, and this is the intersection of Humphreys and Route 66. Highly traveled, you know, people are going out to Snowball and the like. That's the road that they're taking, or even out to the Grand Canyon. So ADOT is going to consider widening that. They want to bring council up to speed. Development plans aren't until later, like 2019, I think, but at least they want to let folks know what they're anticipating doing for that intersection.
And the nuisance party ordinance is also on this agenda. Can you tell me about what's going on?
You bet. What happened was back in October, a group of folks came to council and said, we're a little concerned about the ordinance and what it does and doesn't do. So since then, our police department has been meeting with folks who had some concerns, identifying those concerns, and then coming up with a presentation that takes those into account, but also brings council up to speed on where we are, how it's worked over the last year. So that'll be presented before council. I know folks will be there in attendance, and hopefully there might be some new direction. We might stay exactly where we are.
And Flagstaff businesses may see economic development incentives?
Yeah, council wanted an update. What are we allowed to do? What exists today with current businesses, and what can the city do, the state? And so they'll get an update on those possibilities, and then hopefully provide some direction on that future and where we go with incentives for current businesses.
Well, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
And back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks for that, Michaela. As a reminder, this week's City Council meeting will be a work session, whereas next week members are expected to vote on a number of issues.